Hi there, Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about the Rip Curl Flash Bomb series of wetsuits for winter 2017, fall 2016. So the Flash Bomb suit has been around for quite a few years now. It's become very popular, firstly because of its quick drying properties, but also because it's a very warm, flexible and good looking suit. So the Flash Bomb series has been expanded over the years to now include a zip-free version. You've got the chest zip version, you've got a ladies version, and then there's a hooded version in 2 different weights, and there's also a kids version as well, which comes in hooded and non-hooded and zip-free. So you've got a huge range of the Flash Bomb series. It's stayed pretty much the same for the last few years, a few tweaks here and there, but this year there's a big change with the introduction of the E5 Neoprene. So previously it was the E4 Neoprene, it's now called the E5 Neoprene. The E5 Neoprene is essentially the same rubber, it's the same actual rubber. The difference lies within the flash dry lining itself, so the actual fluffy lining on the inside is less thick, it's a bit shorter, making it much lighter and more flexible in the water basically. So the difference lies with the actual lining inside the suit, not the rubber itself. So that's the E5 and that's in across the Flash Bomb range. So what I'm going to do is basically show you through all the key features which are unique or which are the same for all of the Flash Bomb series, and then just the subtle differences between the range and your options basically. So winter, all of these are winter wetsuits. Winter in the UK, it's a 5mm suit is needed. Rip Curl tend to go with a 5.3, so a lot of other manufacturers these days are a 5.4, so you've got 5mm on the lower body and 4mm on the arms. Rip Curl tend to go with a 3mm on the arms, which obviously promotes more flexibility, and they feel better across the shoulders because they're a bit thinner, but obviously some people will prefer the 5.4 that might feel the cold. But the idea being that if your core is warm, then you can afford to go a bit thinner around your arms and have a bit more flexibility, because as long as your blood's warm, it's pumping warm blood around your body, it shouldn't be a problem with your arms. So all of the 5.3, all of the Rip Curl series is a 5.3, apart from obviously when you go into the hooded suits. The hooded suits, they've done 2 different weights, so it's really down to your preference. You've got the 5.4, so 5mm on the lower body and 4mm on the upper body, and then the hood is 3mm, and then you've got the 6.4 hooded as well. Okay, so obviously that's 6mm on the lower body, but you still get the same hood, the 3mm hood, so it's not too thick. I'll show you that suit in a little bit more depth in a second. So some of the key principles, or the key things that run are the same with every suit within the series. Probably the first thing to start off with would be the neoprene itself. So as I said, it's the E5 neoprene. So if I grab the standard chest strip Flash Bomb here, so the E5 neoprene, E4 in previous years, Rip Curl have always been known for sort of E3, E4 and E5 now in terms of how they sort of classify their neoprene. Basically the E4 neoprene is as stretchy as it gets. Okay, so the E4 from last year, it's as stretchy as a suit can be without being too much air in the neoprene and then blowing out when it gets overstretched. So they can't actually change the neoprene because it's pretty much as stretchy as it's going to go. So what they've done is change the lining on the suit. So you get 100% of the E5 neoprene or the E4 neoprene rubber the whole way through the suit. So loads of flexibility. It is, as I say, as stretchy as neoprene can be without being too pliable and not having the memory that it needs to snap back into position. So that's the whole way through the suit. Super flexible, lovely, really soft to the touch. It feels great when the suit's on. Minimal panelling across the suit, so you get nice big pieces of neoprene, no bum seam. Any seams that are on the suit are always going to be designed to match the contours of the body to make sure there's no restriction. Okay, so the fundamental difference there, I'll turn the suit inside out in a minute, but if I explain sort of what it's all about, is the flash dry lining. Now with all of the suits, all of the Flash Bomb series, you get that flash dry lining the whole way through, right from the chest all the way down. The only place that doesn't have it is in the arms, okay, and around the shoulders and whatnot. So what is this material? Okay, basically what it is a back-combed polypro. So polypro is basically like a kind of like a plasticky material, so very non-absorbent. And this is back combed, and it's very, very good at trapping warm air as it leaves your body and insulating you. Okay, and obviously that fluffiness creates loads of little potholes for the warm air as it leaves your body to get trapped and then insulate you. Okay, the reason they use this material, as I said before, is it's non-absorbent, so basically it doesn't take on any water, so that water is wicked away from your body and the suit dries out really, really quickly. Okay, so any water that does come into the suit, it won't soak into the material and make the suit very heavy and cold. It will basically get pulled away and flushed out of the suit, and then when you take the suit off, all of these little fibres basically which carry the little beads of water will dry out really quickly. Now this is the flash dry lining, and on previous years this was quite fluffy and thick basically, and what they've done this year is they've just sort of kind of trimmed it down, given it a bit of a haircut basically, so it's much shorter and there's less material inside the suit, making the suit lighter. So you still get that warmth, you still get that insulating properties, but you just get a lighter suit, okay, and it will still dry just as quickly. And that's the whole way through. And on the inside of the suit as well, you get E5 taping, and now the E5 taping looks a bit like this, basically, and that E5 taping is essentially the same as the E4 taping, but in certain suits they've actually covered this with the fluffiness as well. So the E5 taping the whole way through the suit. Now, that's the fundamental difference between last year and this year, is going to be lightness. That's always a good thing when you're in the water. Less absorbency means lighter suit, more flexibility, not as much weighing you down, and you'll feel better in the water. So it is a nice little touch, and the E5 is through the whole Flash Bomb series really. Okay, so if I grab the next suit, you have a little look. Now there are some fundamental differences between the suit, but all of the suits are glued and blind stitched. So obviously you get the suit stitched halfway through, okay, from the outside inwards, and then what happens is they glue on the other side. You can see the sort of seam there to make sure no water comes through, and then they use the E5 taping the whole way through the suit. Sometimes you don't get it on the arms to give more flexibility, but you get that E5 taping the whole way through the inside of the suit. That just reinforces the seams, make sure that no water comes in through the seams. So all of these suits really, in effect, should be pretty much waterproof, and you shouldn't be getting too much water coming in. One thing you get with the Flash Bomb, the not zip-free suit, the chest entry suit, is that liquid taping on the seams on the outside as well. So it's like a thin power seam welding, and basically that goes over the top of the seams just to reinforce them, make sure that no water is going to come in through the seam there. So as I said before, when you're paddling out or when you're wading out into the water, you shouldn't find there's any water coming in through the seams, and you do get a warranty to ensure if that does happen, then it can be rectified under warranty as well, and that's for a year. Okay, so looking at the actual entry systems then, there's a few other things that are fundamentally the same across the suit. So you've got the Duraflex knee pads, which is like a robust material that stops any any wear and tear basically on the knees. Especially good if you're learning to surf and you use your knees, or if you use your knees to duck dive. It's really important to have. So having a look at these sort of entry systems, now you've got a few different options. Now the typical, or the old sort of zip system was always the zip system. And basically that's a chest entry system. It's quite similar to most chest entry systems, up and over the head. So you've got the actual inside of the wetsuit here, okay, and then the chest entry system goes up and over the top, and then zips across the front, meaning that any water that comes in through the collar or the neck goes into the chest entry system, and it can be drained out here, and then you've got some drain holes around the back of the suit as well, and around the front, just to get any water out of the chest entry system there. Okay, now with this particular suit, with the rip curl stuff, it's single lined neck. Some of them you get a double lined neck. This is just single, okay, which means it sits flush against the neck, can be less restrictive than some of the double lined necks. It's got that smooth skin on the inside, which will just create a good seal around the neck and nice and comfortable. It should stop any kind of rash and rub. So that's a nice thing. It depends on your sort of preference. Some people prefer the double line collars. Now this suit is just like the rip curl stuff. Unfortunately the zip does go from out to in, so basically every time you get into the water you do have to hook it on rather than for it going inside to out. It's probably something to do with like the patents, not wanting to pay extra money to have that sort of patent on that suit. It's probably more expensive. And another downside with the rip curl suits, which I don't like, the zips are plastic. Okay. Again, it's not too much of a problem. We don't have many of the suits back, and as I say, all of the suits are covered for a year under warranty, but there's something about having like a metal zip just feels a bit more quality. But again, we don't really have too many problems with them, so it's really down to sort of preference again. You've got a toggle on the side here again. You can just fasten that and tighten it up, and then it's up to you how tight you want to have that, and it should stop any water coming through the chest entry system there. So the chest zip suit, as I said before, one of the fundamental differences, obviously being the chest entry system, the actual design of the suit, you've got the liquid taping on the outside, and then you've also got this smooth skin panel, okay, on the chest entry system, to give a bit more more of a variance between suits across the range. This one has like that smooth skin titanium lining, and basically that's really good for keeping wind off your chest and back. Okay, that's smooth skin, so it's particularly common or particularly popular with people that are sort of maybe sat out of the water if you're on a longboard, if you're kite surfing, windsurfing, that kind of thing. This stuff is good for keeping wind off your chest. And so that is essentially the chest entry suit, and that is what you get on the hooded suit as well. So these are basically the same suit, this one. A bit thicker because obviously it's a 5/4 and a 6/4, but then with this one you also get the inbuilt hood. The benefits of an inbuilt hood is obviously when you duck dive there's no chance of flush down the back, and they're really good at sealing you and keeping water out of the suit. Downside are they are quite hard to get on and off, and they're quite restrictive. On the inside of this hood you're completely flash dry lined, and you've got that taping as well with a little peak. So these suits come in at 5/4 and a 6/4. With the ladies suit, I'll grab it on for you. The ladies suit is quite a different design. Obviously it's got to match the contours of a lady's body rather than a man's. So you get one big panel down the front, a bit more of a design, sort of room for the hips. You get the liquid taping around the front, but essentially it's the E5 neoprene, fully taped inside, chest entry, single line collar, and the actual sort of technical specification of the suit is the same. So then if I move over to the zip-free suit. Now Rip Curl have had a real push towards the zip-free side of things, and that's definitely what all their team riders tend to be wearing, is the zip-free stuff. Obviously the benefits of having a suit with no zip is there's no restriction across the chest. The zip won't break because it doesn't exist, and it's easier to sort of get on and off without fiddling around with the zip and sort of pinching it together and everything once you get the hang of it. But the main sort of thing is the flexibility. Okay, so obviously you've got no zip across there, no restriction, maximum amount of flexibility. So the zip free is a fantastic option for people that like to feel really, really loose in the water. It's a 5/3 or a 4/3 depending on the thickness, so you do have that benefit of the thinner arms. These have been really popular over in the UK. People that sort of want to get in for a quick surf and have something that's nice and flexible. So no liquid taping on the outside of the suit. No smooth skin. So the idea of this suit, as I said before, is flexibility. So if you get rid of the need for that smooth skin, there's less seams, bigger panels of neoprene, less restriction, loads of flexibility, no zip, again loads of flexibility. The downside of the suit is probably getting in and out of it is always going to be a little bit tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too much of a problem. I'll sort of show you in a second. Another little cool thing is you get a little magnetic zip these days as well for your key pocket, so you can keep your little non-electric key in there, and that sort of magnetises. So with the chest entry system, it's pretty much the same as the other one before. It goes over your head. The only problem is you can't zip it to open it, so you are relying on just the flexibility of the suit to pull it open nice and wide. Now the trick to it is to actually turn it inside out down to the waist. So you open it up like this, reach inside, you turn it inside out, okay? And when you turn it inside out down to the waist, you can just slip it on like a pair of trousers, up and over your body. The tricky part comes when you're actually getting out of the suit. And some bigger guys, less sort of flexible, bigger lads, some of the older chaps as well, and ladies might sort of struggle with getting the suit on and off, because it's just getting it over your elbow always tends to be the problem. But turning the suit inside out, you get a better look at what's going on the inside, which again is going to be sort of common to all of the suits. But get you an idea of how it actually looks. So inside of the suit, you've got 100% of that E5 flash dry lining, and I'll bring that a bit closer again. You can, those who are familiar might already have a flash bomb. It's interesting to see the pile is quite a lot lower, and obviously that's going to be less weight, but still feels really good. So it's definitely sort of something nice about having a fluffy interior to your wetsuit. E5 taping the whole way through, so that's that taping I mentioned before, whole way through the suit, just reinforcing everything, and then that black material is obviously the actual neoprene itself, E5 neoprene, which, as I said before, isn't really any different to the E4 in terms of the rubber. And as I said before, they don't really have too much taping on the arms, again to promote flexibility where you most need it, which is across your arms. So that's everything pretty much going on with the suits. Can't think of anything I've missed. Leave any comments if you're inquiring about anything else. But the Flash Bomb series, really broad range of wetsuits. We're going to do a separate video on the Flash Bomb Plus this year. They do a Flash Bomb Plus, which is the top end suit basically. There's a few key differences that make it a bit more expensive and a really sort of premium suit. But if you're after a wetsuit which is good balance between flexibility and warmth, the Rip Curl Flash Bomb is always really popular. We sell a lot of these every year, and definitely a good recommendation. Has its flaws in a few different things which I mentioned earlier, but for the money they're fantastic wetsuits.